lives. Plus, it's not like, oh, let's go out to eat somewhere, because there's all the problems that entails, and the restaurants are all running at 25% capacity, and other issues that, yeah. At least where we live, we know of a couple of restaurants where it's usually not a problem. They were never really heavily patroned when we go there, because they're a little off the beaten track, and so going there isn't a problem. But yeah, we know of other restaurants, just don't even try. Sunday after church, no, absolutely not. You are not going to get in. I mean, even back before, last year, there were some restaurants that it's sort of, you go a Sunday after church and there's a 45-minute wait. So, today, no. But, because the child we're looking at is of an age, she gets a say in everything as well. The problem with the younger kids is they tend to play games. They don't have a say in whether they can stay with a foster family or stay with an adoptive family. And so they'll either make up stories of mistreatment, or they will just mess up so badly that it's sort of I can't cope with this kid. This kid is crazy, and they do it intentionally. I don't want to be in this place. Some of them are sadly a little misguided. We had one kid who he wanted to go back to the place he was at before. But he'd screwed up once too many times and they didn't want him. And they'd asked for him to be removed. So he went to a new place and he'd be okay for a couple of weeks, and then it was sort of, I want to go back to the place I was at before. And so he'd start playing up in order to get moved on. And he's not going to have a good time in foster care, because he is completely unruly. Pretty much that's what happened to the girls. Well, that's what happened to the girls we had, but only because of one of them. One of them was completely unruly. She wanted to go back to her parents, and that wasn't happening. They had been terminated because of mistreatment. The younger one was happy enough to be wherever she was. But, we basically said we can't keep the older one. She's a risk to any child around her. She was that much of a problem. And we'll keep the younger one, but we can't keep the older one. And Child Protective Services were just, no, they come as a package and we can't split them up because they're the only people they've known. It's sort of, you have a seriously problematic child. And if she stays with her sister is going to be abused and likely end up in the same condition. And we can't deal with that. And we don't recommend you foist that on anyone else either, because this is a bad situation. And they placed her in a household with a family with a kid of their own. And we were briefly contacted the police about some allegations against the parents and to find out what we know, and the police officer let slip that she was abusing the new family's natural child. And it was sort of, well, we're not surprised. But it's not our problem. That's why we told them we couldn't keep them. But with older kids, they have a say so. So, if they understand that, look, you don't have to play games. If you don't want to be here, say so. We might be a little bit upset, but yeah, it's your choice as much as ours. So hopefully that's a thing that works in her favour. I'm not sure I'm going to make the entire field with this load. Big field, which is good. It's going to bring in a lot of income, which we're going to need, because we need sugar beet harvesting equipment. Yeah. I mean, I would say our 3 former foster kids that have lived with us twice, the girl loves coming over here, but she does understand that her mum is her mum and she's going to live there unless mum screws up. But she's happy to live with us. You know, there are times where it's sort of, oh, I want to stay with you guys. And other times, yeah, I'm going home to mummy, and yeah, she'll take it and leave it. But I mean, as far as her life experience, we were the first parents she knew. Her mum neglected her when she was a baby, and to this day she has a food scavenging problem. Yeah, you have to check under a pillow after she leaves, because there's usually snacks hidden under a pillow, because she has this insecurity about food, because her mum didn't feed her all the time properly. The boy, he's 10, so he's getting to that. He's kind of at the point where 10-year-olds get, oh, do I have to go and stay with grandma, type of thing. And so he's not so enthusiastic about coming to visit. And the 3-year-old, again, we were the only parents he knew for the first 2 years, and because we've stayed in their lives, he just wants to stay with us. He actually cries occasionally when we take him home to his mum. He will sit in his child's seat and just cry as well. Oh, come home with you. And he doesn't understand the situation well, but you can understand, given that a younger child will settle anyway initially, because they don't remember their life before. Older children do, and so it can be a lot more difficult, especially in the sort of young child range. They're past toddling, they're going to school, and they know things are happening. They don't like what's happening. They can't control what's happening, and it's all, they're just, I don't like this, and they don't know how to express it, and that's a problem. Older children can be a problem, but I think in some ways there's more of a chance to reason with them. Oh, now we have to figure out which one the stuff is. I really don't need a lot of it, so let's That's liquid fertilizer, so I want the green ones. I'm going to have to turn strength on, aren't I? Because I'm going to want to drag that out. Let's drag that one out. But then, there are some kids who've gone into care who don't develop the bad habits. Or the habits they develop are self-destructive rather than, globally destructive, if you like. Okay, let's... about 500. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, a lot of the kids we've looked at, not just in passing, it's probably not true, but it would appear that a lot of girls, when they will get suicidal, whereas guys will get violent. And so when it comes to sharp pointy objects, a girl will generally use the sharp pointy object on herself, whereas a boy will use a sharp pointy object on anybody who's around him, and that can be an issue. But I don't know, it's difficult. Some of the kids we've looked at more closely are just a big problem. Others, you can work with them if they're willing to work with you, and that's kind of the issue. Is because you can't fix somebody's behaviour. You can help them fix their behaviour. So if someone's a smoker, you really can't do anything to stop them smoking if they don't want to quit. But once they decide, I want to quit, then they can be helped. You can't help someone who's misbehaving with money. If they want to spend all the money they get on toys and crap, or satellite TV, cable TV, and they don't make enough money to feed their family and buy their meds, then it's sort of, you can't help them if they don't want to be helped. But as soon as they say, I'm in a big rut here because I'm spending more money than I've got, and I've got a car on lease payments, I've got a carpet on payments, I've got bedroom furniture on payments, my kitchen's on payments, and at the end of the month I've got no money left and I need to figure something out, you can work with them. But people have to come to the realization that I have a problem, and yes, I need help. And once they get to that point, they're looking for the way out. And I think the same is true with kids in foster care. You have a problem. Frankly, there's not a lot you can do about it. But let's work through the problem. We're here to help you, and if you want the help, then we can help you. And it's not just the want the help, it's also the right person. I mean, I've had people who I've worked with in business, and it's a case of, I respect you, I respect your abilities, I respect your skills, but frankly, your personality drives me up the wall. And it's a really bad idea for us to work together. I can work in the same room as you, I can advise you, you can advise me, but really, when it comes right down to it, we shouldn't, our personalities are just going to clash. And I've had a couple of guys like that where, yeah, this isn't going to work out. We can be friends outside of work, but in work we're too headstrong. And yeah, that's fine. And same is true of anybody. Yeah, there are some people you are just never going to get along well with. But that's not because you're a bad person or they're a bad person. It's just, yeah, there's just something that doesn't work well. But it's all an adventure, so we'll see where everything ends up over the coming weeks. I'm trying to get to the point where I can just run straight back up the field. Using the complete width of the sprayer or less. What do you think? Is this it? This is why I can't do it in cab. Yes. So I have to watch both sides of the boom, and I just can't do that in cab. Of course, yeah, with younger kids, it was, yeah, we found it fairly easy. We just sort of said, look, Mummy's sick. She needs help. She's seeking out the help, but while she's looking after herself, she's not in a position to take care of you guys. So we're going to do that until Mummy gets better. And young kids tend to be okay with that. I mean, as I said, the boy used to play up every so often. It's all right. Yeah, I don't like you guys. I want to go back to Mummy, because Mummy let him do everything because she was neglecting them. You know, you won't let me do this, you won't let me do that. So, no, we won't, because he's not good for you. But, yeah, it's what they get used to. And, yeah, so long as you're reasonable, most of them will work out okay. We had, a fair number of kids through our place, and most of them were perfectly happy and content to do what they would. And when it boils down to it, we had two that were just no, and they were both, 6, 7, 8 years old, and I live with my mum. I remember my mum. I want to go back to my mum. No, your mum's, that's not happening. We had a couple of kids where they were removed from the house because mum was getting beaten up. And the judge basically said, you need to kick your husband out, and then you can have your kids back. And, initially she was sort of, you're not going to do that, are you? And then her kids were taken away, and we're pretty much within 2 months. Dad was out the house and kids were back home. So, I mean, at that point, those kids really didn't have, they didn't really have much of an inkling of what was going on, or time to get into the, I've had enough of you guys, I want to go back to my mum and dad. Okay, how are we doing here? Looks like we can empty a little bit more. Yeah, and we kind of looked at it. We said, I'm getting to the age where, taking on a baby is not really a great plan. Obviously, if the kids we've had in the house before that have parted on good terms came up for foster care or adoption, we'd renew our license immediately and take them in. But I'm facing the facts that, having an 8-year-old running around the house in 5 years' time, I'm probably not going to be able to cope with it. Having an older child going off to college in 5 years' time, not so much of a problem. So, as I said, we'll see how that goes. I mean, we've already said pretty much that this is the last year we're going to consider adoption. If we get through to January next year and nothing is in the pipeline, then in all likelihoods we'll end of this year. Just because, the age we're getting to, and we are still not empty. Come on, let's go again. 3, 2, 1. Okay, that should be enough. There we go. Engine on. I pressed the wrong button. That button. So that's all the excitement coming up. We are going to take a vacation. I got stuck on something. Yes, I did. We are going to be taking a vacation in a couple of weeks. So I think, as I said, short stream this week. Normal stream next week, I think. Unless something else comes up. And then I can't remember if it's the weekend after or the weekend after that we're going on vacation for a few days. It was supposed to be a family reunion, but it got cancelled because some of the older family members, 2 of the older family members, decided they couldn't make it, and so they cancelled it for everybody, in spite of the fact those 2 were a small part of the family. So made it. But we're going anyway because my wife hasn't seen her dad for a while. We try and get that in at least once a year. Of course, that's still open. If Ohio change their rules and hotels have to shut down again, then we won't be going anywhere, because that would be a thing. I mean, at the moment, the way things are looking, I'm pretty much facing up to I will never see my side of the family again. Especially not my grandmother, who's approaching 100. My parents, not so much. There is a chance I might see my parents again. My parents are too old to do long distance travel though, so they are not coming to the US ever again. What seems to be the problem? Oh. Huh. I thought I had silage in here? It's gone. Hold on. Did we collect anything there? Or has it really all gone? It's really all gone. I'm confused. Okay, well, that's all the silage done then, I guess. Part of the problem is going to England, you have to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks. So I could fly over there, visit my parents, not see anybody else, and by the time the quarantine's over, my vacation for the year is used up. So I don't get to see or do anything there. I am cooped up in their house, and they have dogs, and I am allergic. So not going to work out well for me. Yeah, what we had planned was, okay, we can go back for 2 weeks and visit with all of my family, who's all over the place, go sightseeing, touring, whatever. And, you know, actually make it worth our while going on vacation. But to go on vacation for 2 weeks, to sit in a house and do nothing, I'm kind of not down for that. Now, Arthur obviously is going to be, when he goes, he spends 2 weeks cooped up with his wife in a house. That's a good thing because he doesn't get to see his wife all the time. So, slightly different circumstances. But, yeah. If I can go over there and actually do the touristy thing and have some fun, go out to eat, meet up with my grandparents, my sister, my uncles and aunts, that's fine. But, it's sort of a problem when you can't do that. Now, coming back to the US, if they turned around and said all of a sudden, you got to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks once you return, that's actually not a problem for me because I work from home. But, for people who actually have to go to work, it's sort of, you've got 2 weeks at one end, potentially 2 weeks at the other end. It's sort of, is your company going to let you have 4 weeks off in a block? Not so much. Okay. That's the truck a little bit cleaner. Much better. I can see out the windows now. Back up. So for now, vacations are limited. When the other thing that's limited is seeing the doctor. Oh, good grief. I'm supposed to have 3 appointments since the 1st of July. Actually, before the 1st of July. 2 of them have been rescheduled, one of them twice. And I've got one middle of August, which obviously hasn't hit their radar yet. But who knows what that one's going to be. I mean, one of them, they rescheduled it. They called me about 2 weeks ago and said, the doctor you're going to see, not here anymore. Can we arrange to have you see a different one? So, okay, that's fine. So they arranged for me to see a different one 2 weeks later. And then, 3 days after that, they call me back and say, that one's not going to be available. When you can figure out who I can see when I can see them, let me know and I'll come in. But this is getting silly. Okay, I am going to do that with the borrow purely because I should have backwards. Okay.